On this week's episode,
Old Year, New Year. Questions. He's Kevin.
she's Robyn.
And we're the Schwobs.
Old Year, New Year.
Well, first and foremost, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
It's the end of 2024.
Mm-hmm.
And
Rolling into
2025
25.
is right around the corner, literally.
Literally.
And so we're doing questions. So they're going to be, I'm assuming, because you're the one who found them,
Mm-hmm.
dealing with the past and the future.
Mm-hmm.
So, Old Year, New Year.
Old Year, New Year.
Questions.
Uh-huh.
I can come up with anything and everything. You know that.
Oh, absolutely.
So, as you guys can see, my man is back.
Mm-hmm.
He is done donning his Christmas and back to normal.
Mm-hmm.
So
No hat today.
No hat.
Mm-hmm.
So let's start.
Let's see what we got.
Ooh. Okay, some of these are going to be Christmassy too. So,
Mm-hmm.
What was the best? You know what? Ever. Best present ever, not just Christmas, but ever.
Okay.
Your spouse has ever given you. What's the best gift I've ever given you?
Best gift you've ever given me.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was when I turned 40.
Mm.
And behind the scenes, you were putting together a surprise party.
Yep.
And I'll never forget, we were walking up to the church that we were going to have it at. And
No. We didn't have it at church. We had it at a house. We had it at someone's house.
Okay. But we had...
Wait, yeah.
No. The 30th was at somebody's house.
The 40th.
40th was at the church.
Yes. Okay.
But, so we had gotten there, and Robyn stops me and says, "Forgive me for all my lies."
Yep.
She had behind the scenes contacted people that I hadn't seen in ages.
Yeah.
And, but that one stands out to me. The 30th, too, was a lot of fun. But
What reminds me of the 40th is because I knew some people wouldn't be able to come, like your cousins, and I gave you a book
yes.
with notes from them. What was the worst present I ever gave you?
Worst present. Gosh, I don't know.
Oh, good.
I really don't. It's not the worst by a long shot. It's more funny. But the cows that you occasionally give me. And another one entered our house over the Christmas holiday.
It did. Imagine that. I found them at Goodwill.
You're finding a lot of things at Goodwill.
Blame our son. Blame our son.
Mm-hmm.
So let's do something a little different.
Yeah.
Instead of both of us answering the same question,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to pull 5 out.
Okay.
You're going to answer those 5s, and then I'll pass my man to you.
Okay.
Talk about doing it on the spot. And you can
You
ask...
love doing that, don't you?
Well, it's more fun. And then you can ask me 5 questions from here that I have to answer.
Okay.
Kind of different.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mix it up.
Mix it up.
There you go.
All right, let's go with this one. Okay. Who are you the most grateful for this year? Me, of course. So that answers that question. No.
Moving on.
No, seriously, who are you most grateful for this year?
You know, I think I would say you. You know, looking back at our podcast and what we've seen through it, you know, you've been vital in that success. You know, it's just been, you know, and without it, I don't think we would be where we are.
Yeah, it's definitely helped us.
Yeah, you know, it's definitely been a healing. So, yeah.
He gets brownie points for that one. What did you decide wasn't for you that you thought was? What's something in life where you were like, this is for me, and then you're like, no, not so much. You know, like marrying me. No, not so much. Oh.
No, that job that I took that I shouldn't have taken.
I told you so.
Yeah.
I tried. Did you see me trying?
Mm-hmm.
I tried.
You did. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. All right. Last one for me for now.
Okay.
What is the biggest thing you learned about yourself this year?
Ooh. That no is not an end. N-O is not an end.
Right. Okay, my man. Excuse him as he crosses over to the camera.
Let's see.
There you go.
Well, yeah, you know, he's got to
face the camera.
Mm-hmm. Got to face the camera.
Get his good side.
Yeah, there you go. What positive habits have you implemented?
None. I think the only positive habit I've implemented, and it's actually been over the last 2 years, though I am slacking a little bit, has been consistent with reading my Bible. And I thank you, Edie and Beth, for that, because without Beth Volnot, apologize if I pronounce that wrong, and Edie Melson putting together a 2-year
walk through the Bible.
Walk through the Stop to Read program, where we're walking through the entire Bible, where each month I'm printing out what my assignments to read each day and write a verse. Without that, I wouldn't have gotten into that habit. And over the Christmas couple of days, I haven't done well, but we're getting ready to do it. I'm
sure you're not the only one that feels that way.
Well, and we're getting ready to do it. We'll finish Revelations by the 30th. And we're going to start all over, but we're going to do it in chronological order, which I think will be so cool for me. And they also take the time to do a commentary on it. And so my goal, one of many goals for this year, but one of them is to read the commentary too this time. Okay. So to dig deeper into the Word and not just read, but to dig a little more deeper.
What advice would you give yourself if you had this year to live over? Ooh. This year's been a pretty good year, so it's not like there's anything that you would regret, I don't think.
No, but I think the advice I would give myself is get organized, girl. And get prepared to hunker down and to really focus. It's been It's been a strange year in some aspects. So let me compare this year to 2020. I went from working 40 to 60 hours a week to none.
Yeah.
And then, so I had a lot of changing to do then. And I wasn't per se writing a lot at that point. Well, this year I went from working 2 days a week to not working at all, after working 2 days a week for about a year or so, and writing. And now it's focused on the writing. So I think what I would tell myself is be prepared to pivot and recalculate. And so like another thing I'm working on for this coming year is more focused on the business end of writing, which is a very difficult, and I'd rather just write all day. So yeah.
Get prepared, and this just came to me, get prepared to be redirected by God's GPS.
Oh, I see that coming. I've been...
Not that you were going in a wrong direction.
No, but I don't know that New Year Nightmare will ever be completely completed. I think he's bringing me back. I've been
redirected?
I've been told twice now about sci-fi. And
a genre that you never thought of.
No, well, I did in a way. Chosen was kind of on the sci-fi end, and I'm going back to Bishop-elect Shaw's prophecy, not this past year, but the year before.
In 23.
Yes. And he said something about one of the books already being done. And at that point, I hadn't even started New Year Nightmare. It was up here, but it hadn't been really worked on, and I just considered it.
You were just getting started with...
But I've got bits and pieces of Chosen done. And as we were driving to your mother's for Christmas Eve, I watched a plane come down across the highway. We have to go by the highway on our way.
We have to pass the airport every time.
Thank you. Yeah, we have to pass the highway. We have to pass the highway.
Pass the highway when you're on the highway.
I don't know.
Past Hartsfield.
Yes. And so the plane was coming. So here's the highway, and the plane's coming this way. And all of a sudden, my mind went to the plane in front of us, having to make an emergency landing. And then this is all in my brain, didn't really happen. Okay. This is how my brain works with writing. And then a scene played out in my brain dealing with two of my characters from that series.
Okay.
So,
from the Chosen series?
From the Chosen series. Okay. So I would love, and I'm asking God's permission, to at least get New Year Nightmare typed up.
Okay.
And leave that there. And then I have to find all the information for Chosen. It's in my filing cabinet. And start redirecting and rewriting and see where things go on that one. Chosen is more faith aspect without being pushy faith aspect. Not that stalking or New Year isn't, but so yeah. So I believe that there's a, God has given you the word thrive. That is not the word he's given me. And I'm going to save that. I'm going to let you go ahead and pick another one because, I got kind of off-kiltered.
Oh, that's nothing new. What was the best advice you received this year?
Let go. Forgive.
Yeah, that's been kind of a theme for you in 24.
It has been. It has been. It's been a theme the beginning August of 23 all the way through the end of this year. So, forgive.
Yeah. What talent did you discover you had this year that you didn't know you had?
The talent to forgive. Oh, no.
I don't know if that's one that people would proudly say, but
I think it's a very good one to have.
Oh, there's no question about it.
I don't know that I've learned a new talent this year. I've honed my writing, but I always known I've had that talent.
Yeah.
That is definitely a gift God has given me.
I think you've refined it.
I have definitely started to refine it, and knowing God has many directions for me to go in it, I'm trying to stay on task at the same time. So.
Yeah. Let's see, how many have we done here? 2, 3, 4.
One more.
Okay. Let's see. What was your favorite holiday road trip memory?
So my sister was 16 or 17, and she had rented a limo, and she and 3 or 4 of her friends went into Boston in the limo. And we were supposed to be leaving the next day. Well, she got home around midnight. And you have to understand, my sister's, it wasn't like letting me go at 16 to Boston. That would have been a nightmare. My sister was responsible at the age of 2, I think. And the guy driving them, we all personally knew. He was a personal friend of the family. So she was completely safe. So anyone who knows Boston back in the 80s understands. But we didn't leave the next morning. When Rox got home at midnight, we all piled in the car and drove to Ohio. And so Roxanne and I were sleeping in the back, which was up front with Mom. And it just, those were our road trips. Our trips would be road trips to either my aunt in Ohio. And we had a really good time. Got massages by a guy of hers, and yeah, it was a good time.
Cool.
All right. We'll see. We'll do what, 3 and 3?
Sure.
What has been the most helpful advice to your marriage?
Wow. You're never stuck. I remember I had started going to a men's group on Thursday nights, and I remember saying to these guys something about feeling stuck. And somebody looked at me straight in the face and said, "You're only stuck if you say you're stuck." And, so for a good few months, I had 10 or so guys that, we kept each other accountable. And I had 10 or so guys that literally walked me through fixing that. And, it goes back to something that we touch on quite often, just perspective, and I had to change my perspective. I'm only stuck if I say I'm stuck.
Right.
I'm the only one that can get it unstuck. I can't point it at anything. But yeah, that was the best advice that somebody gave me, because, For me, it was life in general that I was saying that, but I was speaking into it. And of course, when you speak into something, that's what's going to happen.
Right, right.
So, yeah, you're only stuck if you say you're stuck.
So what's the worst advice you ever got about marriage?
There's always a way out.
Ooh, yeah. Yeah.
And yeah, that's a true statement. But when you're, if you're really in for the long haul, you're going to do everything in your power to make that work.
Mm-hmm.
And I've known too many people that at the slightest, issues in a marriage, they just get up and split.
Yeah, I've seen it firsthand.
Yeah, I mean, I know a lady that was a coworker of mine years ago, and the husband just got up and split,
Yeah.
and they had 2 kids together, and I just can't imagine.
Yeah,
I really can't.
Right. What did you discover brought you the most amount of joy?
I think for me, it's been doing the podcast together. We initially, it was telling our story, and we've just kind of carried it on with topics and how it relates to us and that sort of thing. And it's just been neat to keep that going.
I don't like that question.
You don't like that question, okay.
Well, you kind of already said it. It's where place you have that you went this year that you haven't gone. And
it's similar to what we've already done. Okay.
Nope.
Nope.
You don't have a vehicle.
No, I don't.
Okay. And you cannot use the podcast.
Cannot use the podcast.
No.
All
What
right.
activity did you discover you enjoy doing that you didn't think you would?
I'm trying to think. I didn't do it this year, I don't think, but I think it was the year before. Axe throwing. It was a lot of fun. You feel like you're throwing your arm out of socket with throwing the axe, but axe throwing was a lot of fun.
Okay. All right, we got 3 and
3 to do. All right. What do you think is the most different about you right now than at the beginning of this year?
I don't know that there's a big difference.
Mm-hmm.
I think as I grow in my faith and in my walk, I'm realizing more things that need to be changed.
Mm-hmm.
Where I didn't even realize them at the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's getting to the point where I'm willing to change them. Mm-hmm. You don't like that one?
No, I don't. Let's see. What is one item of your spouse's clothing you wish you could throw away?
None.
None.
Now, if it was you wish you could wear, well, I do wear it. And it's his Hall of Fame football sweatshirt. It's mine now.
Uh-huh.
It needs to be thrown away.
That thing's needed to be retired for about 10 years.
It's got slits here and here. Mm-hmm. But baby, that thing's so comfortable because it's so broken in. Mm-hmm. I'm not ready to part with it yet. Mm-hmm. But as far as throwing anything of yours away, no.
No. Now, if I still had my 72 hats and that sort of thing, then,
Yep.
yeah. Let's see. Driving or eating out? What is your pet peeve in either of these situations?
Driving or eating out? All right, let's discuss driving, people. Y'all are my pet peeve. Every single one of you. Because I can't get in your mind.
Patience is not a virtue when it comes to driving.
Well, like today, there was a 4-way stop and a guy didn't even stop.
Oh, wow. Flew right through it, huh?
Flew right through it. Then we were in a parking lot. I was coming one way, and the guy had the stop sign, and he almost rammed into me. Of course, then I did a no-no too, but we're not going to discuss my no-no. So.
Did your son call you out on the no-no?
No. For me, and it's the other thing for me is people in the fast lane going the speed limit or lower. Mm-hmm. Get out of the fast lane. It's not why you're in the fast lane.
Right.
So, yeah. That was number 3, right? You're trying to get an extra one.
That was number 2, I thought. But
okay.
Was that 3?
Go ahead, do one more. Just, you have to be special.
What was your biggest lesson from this year?
Wow. I refuse to learn lessons. Mm-hmm. So we're all set. I didn't learn anything this year. I'm out of school. I don't have to learn anymore. Oh, no. Mm-hmm. Being okay with being okay.
Yeah.
God asked me to do something that I didn't want to do this year. Mm-hmm. He asked me to step back from my writing group. Mm-hmm. And there are reasons, and I see those reasons now. But I work from home. I live at home. Mm-hmm. Yes, I'm an introvert, extrovert. I'm just one of these weird people. I want to be around people. I need to talk to someone. But at the same time, I'm happy with just being curled up and listening to a book or writing. But this year, God has had me with Him a lot, and not really a lot of relationships. And I was talking to a friend of mine about this, and she was like, "God's preparing you for something," and He needs me to be okay with it just being Him and I, and He needs me to be okay with the fact that as I get these friendships and stuff that I need to be okay with no one liking me. I need to be okay with being alone. Because I believe there are some things coming that I'm going to have to be bold about, and it's not going to make me popular.
No.
And I have to be okay with that. And the best way, and the way I see it, is God's, by pulling me away from a lot of things for a lot of different reasons, He's trying to help me get ready to go through that.
Yeah. I think God's been guarding you.
Yeah.
And that was really the reason for Him telling you to step back.
Yes.
Is that He was guarding your heart. And fortunately, we've got a pastor that is not afraid to
tell me what it is.
Speak up and speak out.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, he did it in the way that he knows how. And
well, and it's so funny because when he told me these things, I'm like, I don't want to. He's like, I know that. I wasn't happy with you because I knew that too. But He's not afraid that He knows me well enough to know that I'm not going to go, I don't like what you say, so I'm no longer coming to this church.
Mm-hmm.
I believe 100% New Dimensions is our church until the coming of the Lord. That is what I believe.
Yeah.
And so, and this is my pastor. And so, as him being my pastor, I need to hear him, listen to him. And I did sit down the next day after I pouted, and I prayed things through. And I said, okay, God, whatever you ask, I'll do. Mm-hmm. If you're asking me to step out, I'll step out, because that's what I need to do, because I need to be obedient. And I think that's one thing I've learned this year, is being a little bit more on the obedient side.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah.
Well, that's our time.
It is. That is. And that is our 2024.
That is our 2024. Don't worry. For all of you who are like, oh, are we going to see my man in 2025? Of course you are. My man will be here. Yes. My man.
Yeah, he is a fixture in this podcast.
As you finish out this 2024 and we get ready for the next year,
we encourage you to thrive in 25.
Not only thrive, but move.
Mm-hmm.
That was God's word for me this year. This coming year, 2025, is move.
Wow. Okay.
And it goes with thriving.
Yeah, it does. It does.
Move how God, move in your marriage, move in your lifestyle, move in a way that pleases God.
Mm-hmm. No doubt about it. Do all things unto the Lord. Yeah.
And trust Him.
Amen to that. And on that note, if you've been enjoying our podcast, we encourage you to
like,
share,
and subscribe.
Thanks for hopping on.
I'll have a very happy new year.
And we look forward to seeing you in 2025.